as well. He is the taller fighter in this and has the reach over Mchunu. No standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. Fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round, and the fight is official after 4 rounds. And now we get ready to officially meet the fighters, and let's go to ring announcer Joe Antonacci.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from the Mohegan Sun Casino in Uncasville, Connecticut, Main Events and Classic Entertainment and Sports present NBC Sport Network's Fight Night Live. Tonight's bouts are sanctioned by the Mohegan Tribe Department of Athletic Regulation. Chairman of the tribe, Bruce, 2 Dogs Bosom. Supervisors at ringside, Michael Mazzulli, Michael Murtha, and our physicians. Chief ringside physician, Dr. Michael Schwartz, Dr. Tony Alessi, and Dr. Corey Edgar. And our timekeeper at the bell, Bill Maxheiner. Boxing fans, here we go. 10 rounds of action in the cruiserweight division. Our judges, Glenn Feldman, Carlos Ortiz Jr., and Don Trella, and our referee, Harvey Dock. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He comes to us tonight all the way from Durban, South Africa. He weighed in at 199 pounds and wears white trunks with red trim. Professional record, an excellent 12 victories, only 1 defeat, 9 wins by knockout. Ranked number 5 in the world, please welcome Thabiso, the Rock Mchunu. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. He comes to us tonight from the fighting city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He weighed in at a fit and ready 196 pounds. Green trunks, black trim, professional record, an excellent 36 victories. Only 3 defeats, 18 of those victories by knockout. Please welcome Fast Eddie Chambers. Our referee, Harvey Dock, has our fighters' final instructions.
Trunks are good. We went over the instructions earlier. Touch gloves. Good luck to you.
10 rounds. Cruiserweight.
The last time we saw Eddie Chambers, he was losing a controversial decision to Tomas Adamek. That was on our Fight Night card back in June of last year. In that fight, he tore his right bicep and fought the bulk of that fight literally with 1 hand and fought that tough against Adamek.
Very good fight against Adamek. He's shown he can fight and defeat the best, some of the best heavyweights in the world. Got great wins over Samuel Peter, Alexander Dimitrenko, Calvin Brock, Dominic Gwynn, Derek Ross. He's beaten a lot of really, really good heavyweights. So coming down to cruiserweight, the question is, how did he lose the weight, and how's he going to deal with the speed and the athleticism in this new weight division? And
as you can see, fighting the southpaw Mchunu, who has 9 knockouts, 4 of those coming in the first round.
Mchunu is interesting. He's a very, very solid prospect. He's 13-1. He's got good power. He's got a southpaw stance, and he's been very good with his new trainer. He says everything's different with his new trainer. He's been boxing very differently, utilizing his talent, and he's very excited to face Eddie Chambers.
And from the physique, he is the aptly nicknamed Rock.
He definitely looks like the Rock. He's great physique, and a lot of guys in this cruiserweight division come in the ring very well prepared.
Meanwhile, Chambers said everything was easy. No worries about making weight for this fight.
And both guys are very, very sharp punchers. You can see that right now. Both guys picking their shots carefully. Mchunu's sharp. Chambers a very good counter puncher. And his first round is going to be a little slow paced.
We would expect this from Chambers, who turned pro in December of 2000. Much experience, good competition that he has faced, great fighters he has faced. Mchunu early on, though, showing quite a bit of poise here, the first time he's fought professionally out of South Africa.
Good right hook by Mchunu a few seconds ago, got the attention of Eddie Chambers. Eddie Chambers started doing something smart. He started jabbing the right arm of Mchunu because he's leaning back. It's going to be tough to reach his head, make contact anywhere on the body, touch him, and then look to land your power shots.
Chambers flicks out another nice jab.
You can tell both these guys are very educated. Mchunu doesn't have a lot of professional fights, but he had 173 amateur fights. He fought all over the world and faced very high-level opposition, and you can see he's not a rookie in there.
He won 157 of those amateur fights.
Beautiful angle by Mchunu. He came up the middle, nice left hand, and a nice body shot by Eddie Chambers.
Chambers comes back with that good right to the body.
See, Mchunu's got that weight on that back foot. He's always ready to counterpunch Eddie Chambers regardless of what he does. His weight's back there, and he's a very quick twitch guy, very reflexive, so he uses those reflexes to land good punches.
Mchunu showing poise here in the early going. This one's scheduled for 10 against fast Eddie Chambers in his cruiserweight debut.
And both guys are looking to counterpunch. Both guys weight on the back foot. Chambers forcing the issue a little bit, but good first round for both fighters.
And welcome back to Fight Night. We get ready for round two. The judging criteria: clean punching, effective aggressiveness, ring generalship, and defense. That's what the judges are looking for. We're delighted to have with us one of the most respected men in boxing. He's been a judge, a referee, everything in the sport, and done it well, Larry Hazard. And Larry is going to be keeping track of the rounds as he scores it throughout tonight. As you look there at Eddie Chambers, 31 years old, out of Philadelphia. And Thabiso Mchunu in his first fight outside of South Africa as a pro. As BJ mentioned earlier, he fought extensively as an amateur all over the world. And this is a big moment for him. And that's the way Larry scored the first round. Mchunu off to a 10-9 start.
Mchunu landed the harder punches in that first round. He landed a nice right hook, another nice left hand. Good counter punching, and he's just very quick and very flexive. A slight edge for Mchunu in the first round, but you can see Chambers is a 10-round fighter, and it'll be very interesting to see how the second and third round play out. But you see the athleticism in Mchunu. He's very quick, he's explosive. His weight's on his back foot, so he's not just there to be hit all the time, and he's very picky. Makes it tough for Chambers to come in and land what he wants.
Mchunu coming in. Ranked number 7 in the world in the WBC. He said at the fighter meeting yesterday that he thinks Chambers loses power by coming down from heavyweight.
And his team said it, you know, nobody's stronger in the world than Mchunu. Mchunu's very strong, especially a guy coming down in weight. They think their fighter is very strong, very solid at this 200-pound weight division, and you know, he's proven them right so far.
Let's check in with Chris.
James, not a lot of action these first couple of rounds. What do you want to see from Eddie?
Well, you got an unknown quantity here. The kid is laying back. Eddie's doing the right thing by being cautious. The kid got 10 KOs. We don't want to be a 10th KO, you know? I think that Eddie's going to take over later in the round, you know? Later in the rounds, he's going to take over. But the kid is he's not committing much, you know? You don't want to reach with a southpaw guy. Like I said, he's an unknown quality, and he could be dangerous, you know?
Thanks, James.
Good summation of that first round.
Yeah, great summation. The thing is Mchunu is not expending a lot of energy, so if Eddie is going to start to take over, he's got to continue to apply that pressure, but it's a double-edged sword. He's got to be careful because Mchunu does have power, and he is very hard to hit.
And as we heard from his corner, they know about his record. Those 9 knockouts, 4 of those were in the first round. He showed early power so far along the way in Mchunu.
And Eddie's realizing here in this cruiserweight division that, you know, just because the fighter is smaller doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be easy. Mchunu has shown a lot of good upper body movement, sharp punching, and Eddie's having troubles connecting and finding him right now.
Chambers told us at the fighter meeting that he was excited about going in and not being the smaller fighter, as he usually was when he was fighting heavyweights, but from the looks of this, he doesn't look like the bigger fighter.
He's definitely not the bigger fighter, but, you know, even with that being said, you know, boxing is about skill, not so much about size, and Eddie knows that. He's beaten a lot of good heavyweights over the last 5-6 years with his skill, and Mchunu is showing some really good skill right now. Not that he's dominating Eddie by any means, just he's in a little more control, and he's kind of picking the pace of the fight.
Mchunu still fighting. Very much a poised fight against the veteran Chambers at the end of 2. There's the veteran Eddie Chambers getting ready for the third round. This is his debut as a cruiserweight, and this his 40th professional fight. Taking on Thabiso Mchunu, the 24-year-old South African, who's making his first fight not just in the U.S. but outside of his native country, coming in with a 12-1 record and a #7 world ranking.
And that's a very important punch for Eddie. That right hand of the body needs to bring that left hook behind it, but start making contact anywhere in Mchunu. The head is very difficult to find. The body is going to be a little more easy to find because Mchunu isn't moving his feet. So Eddie will be able to find a nice counter right hook by Mchunu.
The jab so far, a lot thrown. Few have been able to land here, though, BJ.
Yeah, and the reason for that, you see Mchunu leaning back on his back left foot. He's kind of out of range for all the Eddie Chamber jabs. And when you step in too much to land that right hand, he's going to counter you with his own left hand, so he's making it difficult so far. Nice combination from Mchunu. No, it's actually easier because when you have that wide stance, it makes it to where you can really turn your body, you can really get leverage on those punches, and you're always in position to punch. You don't have to move your feet before you punch to get that leverage. And Mchunu's got that black left foot planted firmly, and that's why he comes with that counter left so nice. Eddie's got to start doing his jab in Mchunu's arm, hitting him with the right hands of the body, and start making contact with him anywhere to start the breakdown process so we can have success in the later rounds. Right there, nice jab to his arm. The crowd's going here because there's not a lot of action, but Mchunu is making Chambers be responsible for everything he does with very sharp counterpunching.
Chambers trying to pick up the pace. To the applause of some here at Mohegan Sun. Good crowd. They lined up to come to see 3 big fights tonight. Adamick will be in action next. And then Stevens in the main event.
Nice up down by Mchunu. You see Mchunu just kind of sliding over to his left, coming up and down with very good angles, and you know, sliding over to his left to continually put himself in range to land his left hand. That's his bread and butter punch, and he's making sure he's in position to land it at all times.
And he hasn't varied throughout this fight.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't needed to. So far through 2 rounds, he's winning, and you know, he's got to keep doing the same thing that has made him successful so far. Nice left hand by Mchunu.
Mchunu getting some action inside.
And one thing you see Eddie doing, he's standing right in front of Mchunu. He's not trying to slide to his left. He's not trying to create that angle to land his right hand, and Mchunu might have the better hand speed, so it's put Eddie behind the 8 ball a little bit.
Thabiso Mchunu in the white with the red continues to be impressive through 3 rounds. '28-year-old Curtis Stevens has zipped up in the rankings. He is #6 in the world, trying to make it 4 in a row tonight and win the NABF championship. That's the main event. And back to action here in round 4, cruiserweights. Eddie Chambers, the veteran, in the green with black. Thabiso Mchunu in the white and red. Mchunu in his U.S. debut, his actual debut outside of South Africa. That's where he's had all of his fights prior. And Larry Hazard has the youngster from South Africa winning all 3 rounds so far.
Yeah, I agree with Larry in his scorecard. You know, Mchunu's landed the cleaner punches. He's being more effective. He's being more sharp, and he's making Eddie pay when he misses.
And he kind of rattled Eddie a litle bit there, it appeared.
He did. It's interesting to me why Eddie, he's fighting at southpaw, but he's leaning kind of to the right. He's leaning right into Mchunu's left hand. I'm not sure why exactly he's doing that unless he's trying to bait him, but you know, so far it's not working. He's got to make sure that he keeps his head off that line because Mchunu's connecting with that left hand. He's very sharp with it.
And Mchunu continues to put that weight on the back foot, and he's cocked and ready to throw that left whenever he has a chance.
He's waiting for it. You see Eddie kind of inviting it in, but Mchunu is able to be very effective with it.
Mchunu has won 9 of his 12 by way of knockout. Let's go over and check in his corner with Chris.
Sean, what are you seeing out there?
It's a bit of a slow fight right now, but you know, we can hopefully be able to pick it up a little bit. But he's looking good. Wait for Eddie to get a bit anxious. If he makes a few mistakes, you can hopefully be able to capitalize.
What else do you want to see out of Thabiso?
A little bit more work to let the hands go, but you know, just he's feeling himself out there. I think he's going to be fine. He's going to do good.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, Chris. Sean Smith, his manager, advisor, trainer. And he knows he's got a guy that's getting a lot of attention. He has with the way he has knocked people out and the power he has shown.
Well, I'm impressed that Eddie really hasn't been able to lay a glove on him. You know, Eddie can hit anybody, and to be honest with Mchunu, he's had a very difficult time finding him because Mchunu's weight is back on that left foot. He's sharp with his counter punches, and he's, you know, he's doing some good, clean work when he does punch. It's just not a lot of holes.
He's landed 6 more punches than Chambers so far, according to CompuBox. And maybe that's what people wanted to see tonight, see how Mchunu would do against a veteran fighter, even though he's moving down in weight class, as Chambers, to see how much poise he would have, because we know he's got knockout ability. Some question about some of those knockouts, as with any young fighter coming up. You're not going to always take on the best guys early.
Right, and it's not always about scoring the knockout, Kenny. It's about, you know, winning and beating higher-level opposition. Mchunu's taken a big step up tonight facing Eddie Chambers, but, you know, so far I got it 4 rounds to 0.
His strategy so far appears to be working for Mchunu. Saul Ramon getting ready to go into action. He'll be in the main event against Curtis Stevens. Now back to this cruiserweight match. Thabiso Mchunu. He in the white with the red against Eddie Chambers in the green with the black. This is round 5 scheduled for 10. Average punches thrown according to CompuBox through 4. Mchunu is throwing the bulk of the punches. And he's landing more. And that's, you know, seems to be pretty basic. That's pretty much what's happening to Chambers at this moment.
Yeah, Chambers getting that work, but the interesting thing about that is, you know, normally the fighter coming forward will let his hands go a little more, and Chambers is so used to being able to walk heavyweights down and look and see opportunities. With Mchunu, he's not seeing a lot of openings. The rule of thumb with that is you got to punch until you find openings. You can't sit and wait for him because Mchunu's not going to give him any.
Larry Hazard has scored every round now for Mchunu.
I agree. I think he's landed the cleaner punches. He's been in control, and he's making Eddie fight his fight. At this point, Eddie cannot sit outside and try to outbox him because Mchunu's the sharper boxer.
Mchunu has not changed his style at all throughout this.
Why would he? He's been effective. He's got Eddie walking in. He's landing punches. And this is what the corner Mchunu said. They said, we want Eddie to start to get a little reckless, and Mchunu can land his power. But it's interesting to see a guy with so much power be able to box so disciplined like he has so far through 5 rounds.
Let's check in with Chris.
Guys, James Ali Bashir's message to Eddie Chambers after that last round was to be more physical. Bashir told him to start pushing Mchunu back, work the body, and throw the jab. Guys, Eddie Chambers is known for his great jab. We are just not seeing it consistently from him tonight.
Thanks, Chris. You know, we saw the jab a lot in the Adamek fight.
It's very different. He's not able to land it because Mchunu's on his back foot, and he's not able to make contact with anything. If he was touching a glove, touching an arm, touching the body, it'd be different. But Mchunu is making him miss that punch, and it's very limiting to Eddie's offense.
Again, he flicks a jab out that comes up short. And Mchunu comes right back. Mchunu is looking strong, and that's a good left.
This is a very tough style of a guy to fight. He's a southpaw, first of all. Second of all, his weight's on his back foot. It's very unorthodox to have a guy so slick in such a high weight division. So he's boxing a very impressive fight, and Chambers is struggling with the style. That's what Eddie's got to do, work right there. He can't wait for Mchunu to give him openings because so far he's not giving him any. Eddie's got to be busy, and he's got to start banging the body.
Points could be building up here for Thabiso Mchunu. Another good round. Tomas Adamek taking on Dominic Gwynn in our fight coming up next. Adamek ranked number 5 in the world in the heavyweight ranks. He told us he thinks he's a couple of wins away from getting another title shot. And Dominic Gwynn, who started off so great in his career, he's been around 500 since. He knows this is the biggest moment he has had in years, taking on Adamek tonight. And now we move on into this cruiserweight 10-round event. It's going into round 6, and Eddie Chambers appears to be in some trouble right now. Larry Hazard has scored all 5 rounds up till now for Thabiso Mchunu, the youngster, 24 years old, making his debut outside of South Africa. First time he's fought outside of his native land. He's ranked number 7 in the world, and he continues to control this fight. Another 10-9 round for Mchunu, and he starts off good here in the 6th.
And in the corner of Chambers, they told him, listen, we've got to step up the pace, make it physical, push him around. They have to take into consideration that their fighter's down 5 rounds now, and he needs a knockdown or something big in the latter stages of this fight to make sure, he doesn't lose the decision. So, Mchunu started the fight off very well. Eddie needs to be more aggressive, needs to bang the body because Mchunu is dominating so far.
According to CompuBox, Chambers landing only 12% of his punches.
And who would have thought that Eddie would have came down to cruiserweight and land 12% of his punches? He hits heavyweights at a 40 and 50% rate. So it's a very different division. It's a very different type of fighter that he's facing. And he's got a very athletic and very sharp puncher in front of him, and Thabiso Mchunu.
The thing is, Chambers has thrown some punches that just simply missed, which you would also not expect from him. But as BJ pointed out, the style of Mchunu is very interesting. It hasn't changed. There's, as you said, no need for it to change. He just sets, cocks that left, and says, come at me, and Chambers hasn't been able to solve it.
Right, not only the left, though, Kenny, he's got a nice, quick little counter right hook. He's got very good upper body movement, and that's got Eddie a little unsettled because he hasn't been able to land the right hand. Good job by Mchunu, and just he's really just controlling the action. I'm very impressed with him so far.
And people want to know, Mchunu has won impressively throughout his young pro career in his home country of South Africa. 12-1 coming in here. 9 of those wins by way of knockout. But he's maybe showing more boxing skills than people thought that hadn't seen him before.
Very impressive, because yesterday at the fighter meetings, the corner of Eddie was very dismissive of Mchunu. They said, they told us, you know what, listen, boxing is protocol. You don't just wake up one day and fight in Eddie Chambers, and this guy's only got 13 fights. And I reminded them that he does have 173 amateur fights, and he's shown that experience today.
Mchunu is close to doubling up the punches landed in this fight.
And Eddie has got to pick up the pace here. Mchunu is winning the 6th round again. The corner of Eddie said, listen, we got to rough him up, and it doesn't seem like anything's working.
Thabiso Mchunu continues to control the pace of this fight, maybe to the surprise of some against a veteran like Chambers, that he would continue to control round by round. But that's the way it's worked out here to get us started on fight night.
On top, you're missing with it. Turn the shots under. But protect your chin, turn in and punch, punch, punch. Quick shots, 3, 4, 5. Don't load up on them, just let them go. Build them points. Okay. We got 3 rounds. Can't let this thing get this close anymore. Let me see the ice pad.
James Ali Bashir, the trainer, in Eddie Chambers' corner, giving him the strategy. As we go in here to round 7, scheduled for 10, in a fight that's been controlled by Thabiso Mchunu, the 24-year-old South African. He in the white with the red trim. First time he's ever fought outside of his home country. And as you can see, Larry Hazard has scored every round for Mchunu. And I think most people would agree. You wonder about the corner of Chambers. They're talking about points. Maybe they should be trying to see about knockouts, although Chambers is not known for many of those later in the rounds.
Yeah, he's not, especially, his first fight in the new division. It's obviously very different, very difficult. Mchunu is really dominating him so far. So what Chambers has to do is he has to find something that works, touch him anywhere. And he's letting Mchunu get off like he's winning the fight, and he's just he's getting outworked and dominated here.
And Mchunu coming out again the way he has from the start of this fight. In that last round, he outlanded Chambers 23-12 in the last 2 rounds now, according to CompuBox. And Chambers,
great defense on those ropes. He's very, his feet, he always maintains that spacing. He's always ready to counter. And Chambers has been warned several times with that Mchunu left hand, hey, if you get too close, if you miss by even a fraction of an inch, I'm going to make you pay. And Eddie's trying. He's trying to get close. He's trying to get into range, but Mchunu's making him pay. He's got to just start banging on the body, banging on the arms of Mchunu, and not standing right in front of him, because he's right in range for that left hand.
In Chambers' career of 36 wins, 18 by knockout, he has only had 1 lifetime knockout in the 7th round, and none beyond that. which would seem to make the odds even more against him the way this fight's going.
Good left jab by Eddie. He's got to get back to that. He's got to jab Mchunu on that lead arm. Forget about his head. And the other thing, you see Eddie standing right in front of Mchunu. Perfect range for that left hand. He's got to slide over to his left. He's got to work to his left while he's working in, and he'll take away the angle of that Mchunu left hand.
Mchunu was able to make him pay a little bit with that.
Yeah, he was. And you see when Eddie stands right in front of him with his gloves up, it makes it difficult for Eddie to be offensive. Mchunu has a big target in front of him whenever Eddie's squared up, and he's making him pay.
Seventh round, much like the first through the sixth. Mchunu controlling the tempo.
Bang the body, he's going to go out, all right? Stay close to him. That's what he's doing. He wait for you to punch and he's counter punching. Bang to the bodies. Leave the top shots alone because you're missing those shots, all right? Settle down, cut the ring down. Don't follow him in a circle, and work to the body.
Sean, can you get that water too?
Yeah, where?
Right there. Seconds out.
Don't you come, Sean? Come on, boy. Come to Sean. Come to Sean. Work this boy.
As we go in to round 8, scheduled for 10, these cruiserweights, Thabiso Mchunu in the white, the red stripes. In his corner, very relaxed. Eddie Chambers' corner, meanwhile, kind of letting him know, BJ, that they think he might really be in this fight. He's got to keep the points close, but from all indications, based on our unofficial scoring from Larry Hazard, this has been Mchunu, not just one round or 2 rounds, but every round so far.
Yeah, I can't really find a round to give to Eddie so far. Mchunu is dominating him offensively, and Eddie's handcuffed with his hands up like that, and Mchunu's getting off. And, you know, Mchunu's a very difficult style of fighter. It's, you know, to the naked eye, people can't see how difficult he is to fight. You know, just walk in, hit him with punches, walk in and bang on him. But he's got good power, and he's a very good counter puncher with good reflexes, so it makes it tough for Eddie just to walk in.
Are you surprised, or is it just Mchunu's style that Chambers has not been a more active fighter throughout this evening?
It's a little bit of both. I'm surprised how good Mchunu is at this style. You know, he's not a welterweight. He's not a junior middleweight. He's a full-fledged cruiserweight, and it's rare that cruiserweights have the type of counter-punching ability and skill staying on that back foot like Mchunu does. So I'm very impressed with that, but it's also a different style of fight for Eddie. We said that in the beginning of this. Eddie's used to fighting heavyweights, and the cruiserweight's a completely different division, much more athletic and much more fast. Good body shots by Mchunu.
Mchunu has landed the better punches throughout the fight.
You see Mchunu when he's back on that left foot like that, raising his right arm to block and deflect punches. Defense. What Eddie's got to do, bang on the arm, bang on the body of Mchunu, and make sure that he's making contact, because the head is just very tough to make contact with.
Coming up next, Tomas Adamek, number 5 in the world among the heavyweights, against Dominic Gwynn. And then in our main event, Curtis Stevens and Saul Ramon fighting for the NABF middleweight title.
Beautiful left hand by Mchunu. Eddie overextended, and there it is again. You know, you got Eddie overextending on those right hands. Eddie's frustrated here.
And Mchunu has made him pay almost every time that's happened. Almost every time.
Every time. He's not letting him off the hook, and he's fighting like a fighter that wants to come into the country of another guy and dominate him in his own hometown, and that's what Mchunu's done so far.
No one doubted his power, maybe his overall boxing skill, just curiosity. Had never fought professionally outside of South Africa until tonight. But they're seeing a guy that has a lot of poise and a lot of talent.
He's got a lot of talent, Ken. He's very, very talented. And to be honest with you, any guy who tries to walk Mchunu down is going to have a lot of troubles, because he is very poised off that back foot.
Mchunu continues to put the weight on the back foot, cocked and ready with that big left if needed. So far, it's not.
Quick. Time. Let's go, Blue.
Round 9, Mchunu has landed double digits in 3 of the last 4 rounds. Chambers is yet to reach double-digit connections all night in any of the rounds so far. And that sort of sums up the way this fight's going, in case you just tuned in. Cruiserweights, Thabiso Mchunu in the white with the red, making his debut outside of his native country of South Africa. And you see our Larry Hazard has it again, 10-9 in favor of Mchunu against Eddie Chambers in his 40th pro fight, fighting as a cruiserweight for the first time. And some would think that that would make him a quicker fighter. The fact he's dropping down from heavyweight to cruiserweight, BJ. Some would think that.
Yeah, it might make him quicker. I think he's definitely quicker than he has been at heavyweight before. But he's in with a fighter who's probably 2 to 3 times quicker than anyone he's faced before. And, you know, it's very obvious that Mchunu is just a bad style.
Mchunu goes to the body again. Hasn't really hurt Chambers, certainly, though, has aggravated him and frustrated him throughout this night.
He hasn't hurt him or wobbled him, but he's got his attention. Trust me, you don't see Eddie trying to run in here. And if he didn't respect Mchunu's power here, then he would be coming in, because it's at the point of the fight where he needs to show a little desperation, where he's down, you know, 7 rounds to 1, 8 rounds to 0. So if he didn't respect Mchunu's power, he would be coming in more recklessly.
Let's check in with Chris.
Guys, as you might expect, a very pleased Mchunu corner after that last round. Sean Smith told Mchunu, you're boxing his ears off. But I'll tell you, they have no intention of being cautious these last 2 rounds. Smith told Mchunu that Chambers was wide open for an uppercut when he threw that right hand, and he wants him to step in and throw it when he does.
Thanks, Chris.
It's great advice. He is open for the uppercut because Eddie's standing in front of Mchunu a little too squared up. If, you know, Eddie had his back foot back, or if he was working to the left side of Mchunu, he wouldn't be so open for that uppercut, but he's standing right in front of him.
That was an attention-grabbing left there by Mchunu. Chambers said a few things to him as he was shrugging it off.
Just more of the same, though, Kenny. Getting hit with good straight punches from Mchunu, and Eddie trying to get in Mchunu's head, but he's just fighting a very posed and a very controlled fight.
If you pulled replays of this fight and did the montage, it would basically be what you're seeing right now, wouldn't it? Throughout rounds 1, 2, on and on.
It's pretty much happened through the whole fight. And this is a very difficult riddle to crack, this Mchunu kid. He's got the weight on the back foot. He's a good puncher. He's very sharp. He doesn't leave a lot of openings, and he's going to give a lot of cruiserweights a lot of problems.
Sticks another one to the body of Eddie Chambers. Chambers trying to come back in with the right, and Mchunu is right there. Chambers just missed with an uppercut in close.
And that's where Eddie's got to work, right there close. He's got to work inside right there. It's the only shot, because on the outside, he's not able to land. And Eddie Chambers got a great left hook. We haven't even seen that punch in this fight, Ken. Mchunu's completely taken that punch away from him.
It's again Mchunu with a solid round, and 1 round to go. And still ahead, number 5 in the world heavyweight, has a big following here in this area. Tomasz Adamek will be in action. You see Adamek from Poland makes his home in Jersey City, New Jersey. Dominic Gwynn started off 24-0 once upon a time in his career, but this is his biggest stage in years.
Rumble with him, rumble with him. All right? You got to rumble with him, Eddie. Roll the dice, son. Roll the dice.
We're here in a place where they do roll the dice.
A little bit, boy. There's a wheelchair.
And the strategy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right?
Can you do that?
Mchunu's corner, playing a little safe there. Not too cautious, but safe. But Chambers' corner, as you look at Eddie there in his cruiserweight debut, right on it. He's got to roll the dice. He's got to pull out all stops, as they would say in the casino here.
He has to, but he's not being active enough with his offensive arsenal. He's giving Mchunu the same look round after round, and Mchunu has shown that he can take advantage of that. You got to let your hands go if you're Eddie Chambers here in this 10th round.
Chambers is setting a dubious mark for himself, the lowest amount of connections in a fight. He's just struggled all night, as you see with Larry Hazard's unofficial scoring. Every round to Mchunu right now.
It's hard to disagree with the scorecard. Mchunu has been the bigger puncher. He's controlled the action. He's done everything that you're supposed to do to win rounds. And, you know, Larry Hazard's a very experienced and knows how to judge a fight. And if Larry has it that way, it's really hard to argue with it, with what I've seen tonight.
Well, Chambers connected on 4 punches that last round.
And I'm not sure I saw all 4 of them either. See Eddie kind of standing in front of Mchunu with his hands up. Very difficult style. Mchunu teeing off on him.
Under 2 minutes to go, Eddie Chambers has never knocked out an opponent beyond the 7th round.
be very surprising to me if he did it tonight, because Mchunu has just got him very, very confused and puzzled.
24-year-old Thabiso Mchunu showing a well-rounded game here.
Very good. When he's in the inside, too, Chambers should be dominating him there. And when he gets inside, Mchunu is very relaxed, very controlled, and you know, doing good work. He's got that good foot position. He's ripping good body shots and really making Eddie fight his fight.
No.
Mchunu had won a South African title in only his 3rd pro fight. Coming in here 12-1 with 9 knockouts, some big first-round knockouts. He's showing, though, that he can fight a smart fight and have a strategy that has befuddled a veteran good fighter like Fast Eddie Chambers, who has fought many top fighters in his career.
Yeah, he has. Mchunu is really making a statement tonight, Kenny, going in and dominating a guy like Eddie Chambers. Everybody who said, you know, Eddie Chambers got the experience, he's been the best, he's fought the best in the world, Mchunu is showing, hey, listen, there's a new player in the division.
Mchunu said, with more matter-of-factness than cockiness, that he's never been hurt, never been cut. And according to him, my defense is not bad. That's a direct quote.
That's a definite understatement.
And that's certainly, yeah, he's undersold himself here tonight.
Yeah, he has. You know, normally fighters oversell themselves, and Mchunu didn't tell us exactly how good he was yesterday in the fighter meetings.
But Mchunu is showing it tonight. With a nice overhand left to end it all against the veteran Fast Eddie Chambers, it now goes to the judges. Did they see it the way that our unofficial scores saw it? A dominant performance by Thabiso Mchunu. And there you see him, 24 years old, made his pro debut in July of 2007, getting hugs from Sean Smith, his trainer, and also his manager and advisor, all wrapped up into one. He's with Smith's gym there in Johannesburg, and they've got a talented young man that is going to get the attention of a lot of people after this win tonight.
Kenny, Mchunu reminds me of a old school Roy Jones. After he fights a 10-round fight, he doesn't even appear like he was in a fight. He's totally calm, relaxed. Looks like he could have done that for 10 more rounds. Very, very impressive showing by Mchunu. Good counter-punching, very sharp, and really dominated a guy who's been in the top 10 of the heavyweight ratings over the last 7 or 8 years. Very impressive tonight, Kenny.
And for Eddie Chambers, again, this is just a lot of our opinion on this, based on our scoring system over here. But for Eddie Chambers, dropping down, fighting in cruiserweight for the first time after a 36-3 record. And he'd always talked about being the smaller, quicker man as a heavyweight. And maybe he'd be a bigger fighter as a cruiserweight. Not tonight. We take a look now at our CompuBox total punches and look at the dominance of Mchunu, from the number thrown to landed. Chambers only connecting on 15% of his total punches.
That's amazing, because Chambers is always shown to be very accurate. I mean, those numbers don't really tell the story. You know, Mchunu kind of dominated every minute of every round. You see Mchunu even out jabbing Eddie. Eddie didn't really use the jab to land it. He used it to set up other punches, but Mchunu made him miss that first jab, and, you know, in essence, the other punches that followed missed as well.
Who would have thought that Chambers would have ever landed only 6% of his jabs, and in power punches, landing 39%. Mchunu. It has gone to the judges for their decision, and let's go now back to Joe Antonacci.
Boxing fans, after 10 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Carlos Ortiz Jr. scores about 97-93, while judges Glenn Feldman and Don Trella both scored about 99-91. All for your winner by unanimous decision. From Durban, South Africa, Thabiso "The Rock" Mchunu.
Thabiso Mchunu with a unanimous decision, and a resounding unanimous decision, listening to those numbers being rattled off.
Yeah, I'm not sure why the corner Mchunu was so surprised. I had him winning at least, you know, 8 or 9 rounds pretty dominant, and, you know, they were acted like they were surprised when they got the decision. Their fighter fought a great fight.
Well, Mchunu himself is a very understated young man so far.